Okay, so I guess we are on time, so let me kick this off. Good morning, good evening, everyone. It's great to see you all here for our latest Sitecore user group meetup in Jaipur. So today we are excited and honored to have Maulik with us to present about XM Cloud migration journey. So Maulik is a full-time Sitecore technology MVP and working as a Sitecore architect at Communal Digital, and he is also a very active community member. So you can see him on LinkedIn or Slack as well very frequently. So I would like to hand over this session to Maulik, and Maulik, you may begin your presentation.
Cool. Thank you so much, Sumit, and thank you so much, SUG Jaipur, for inviting me for the session. Today, I'm going to present Inside Sitecore XM Cloud lessons from our website migration journey. Last, before going to that, let me introduce myself. I'm Maulik Darji. I am four-time Sitecore MVP. I am technology MVP currently, and I have 15 years experience in Sitecore. I have worked in different locations like India. I have worked in Copenhagen, Denmark. I have worked in South Africa as well, and currently I am in USA since almost more than 7 years now. I have been working as a Sitecore architect since almost 8 9 years now, and I love Sitecore. So I'm writing a lot of blogs on darjimaulik.wordpress.com. Last year we started I joined a client who has XM Cloud setup. They had XP and they were migrating from XP to XM Cloud. And I worked with the team. We delivered four websites, and during that website migration journey, we had some challenges. We faced some issues because at that time, even Sitecore XM Cloud was also what you can say, it was also progressing. It was not 100% perfect product. Even right now, we see that there are some challenges, but it is way better than what when we started last year, like 2023, and we started migrating. During this session, I'm going to cover introduction to XM Cloud, so some small stuff around that, initial setup, and what challenges we faced, how we develop, so development, migration, release, what steps we followed, or what issues we faced, and then during that time, what are the lessons learned. And then I'll try to keep question answers at the end. Feel free if there is any way you can send the questions in the chat. Uh, XM Cloud, most people know about what is XM Cloud. XM Cloud is, if I say it in a very layman term, if you know Sitecore, it is just the CMS. It does not have any CD, it does not have search, personalization, your XDB, nothing there. XM Cloud is pure CM, but that is Cloud CM. So client saves a lot of money for the on-premise setup. You don't need to worry about Sitecore upgrades. You are on 10.2. Oh, I need to go to 10.3. You have to make a 6 months project to upgrade 10.2 to 10.3, 10.3 to 10.4. And in future, if 10.5 comes, you have to upgrade if it is a on-premise setup. XM Cloud, don't worry about it. Sitecore manages that upgrades, and it is very quick upgrades. It has a complete different architecture. So you will not see the changes. Yeah, all your environment is not shut down. You are not working on anything like that. But when it comes to that, XM Cloud requires some more modules. Last year, sorry, in 2023, this was a new name called Composable DXP, that is XM Cloud Plus, that included XM Cloud, Search, Personalize, CDP, and Connect, everything in a single module. So that will give a same, almost same features as Sitecore XP, but as a same separate modules. Nowadays, I don't see this XM Cloud Plus anymore, but there are lots of integration points with XM Cloud. Uh, these are the four websites we developed last year. AAA Club Alliance, Martin Travel, Provident Travel, and AAA Corporate Travel. By any chance, if anyone has attended last year's symposium, uh, we were the company Dave Flanagan talked about. So within like symposium starts, Dave Flanagan comes on a stage and talks about AAA Club Alliance. So it was a proud moment for us. This was the website. This is Provident Travel, Martin Travel, and corporate AAA Corporate Travel. AAA is a huge name in USA. It's a American Automobile Association, and it has different you can say franchise, but here they call club. So this is managed by Club Alliance, around 8 million customer and covering almost I would say, if you are aware about US geography, New Jersey, some part of New Jersey, but they are based out of Delaware, Maryland, Baltimore, some part of Pennsylvania, quite a big part of Ohio, uh, and a lot of other places. So more than 8 million customers. These are all the supporting travel websites. Now let's come back to the XM Cloud. And this is one of the XM Cloud design architecture Sitecore provides. Here you can see the first one, how you can start with XM Cloud. So that is first thing, you need to get access to the cloud portal. So this is the access to the cloud portal. Then you can create your XM Cloud instance. You can see that first one is deploy app. Now this deploy app is one of the most important app because we are not able to just we are not able to access anything physical on XM Cloud. So we have to use deploy app. Using deploy app, you can connect your repository, GitHub repository to Sitecore, and it will install a instance your specific code into XM Cloud. Sitecore CLI mostly used for serialization. Most important part with XM Cloud, GraphQL. So if you have used JSS, you know how crucial GraphQL is. GraphQL is delivered on a edge endpoint in XM Cloud, and that edge endpoint is kind of your CD server endpoint. You cannot see any UI on edge endpoint, but that's just the API, and you have to deploy your code, JSS code in Vercel or Netlify, and that can access the edge endpoint with GraphQL. There are a few other options of REST API. You can create webhooks, and you must have JSS and Next JS SDK. Or you can, like, instead of JSS, you can have a Next.js. Sorry, JSS you have to use. Instead of Next.js, you can use any other stuff. Anyone saying anything? Okay, I hope not. Serialization. Then comes the third one. You can run these things in parallel. Dashboard is our Sitecore dashboard. Now Pages. Pages is the new experience editor. XM Cloud is going to remove the experience editor very soon. There are lots of talk going on that XM Cloud won't be available next year by next year. Experience editor won't be there, so we will have content editor and pages, or now you can call it page builders. Then we have components, explorer, forms, content editor. No longer experience editor from next year mostly. So this is the interface, and once that interface and deploy API, that gives you your XM Cloud. And once you have XM Cloud, you can connect other add-ons like Sitecore Search or the Content Hub One, Personalized CDP, Content Hub DAM, or Content Hub Ops. So those are the things. XM Cloud does contains a little bit a small scale version of personalized. Does not have lots of stuff, but there are few stuff in XM Cloud available. It will have around 30 days of CDP data as well in XM Cloud, so you can personalize user behavior, user interaction in XM Cloud using small scale personalized, small scale CDP just for 30 days of users' data. But at least some part is available. Not everything, but at least some part is available. When we started working on that, we had some challenges. First of all, we had one challenge that was around environment setup. Then we had to set up deployment pipelines. We had to set up UI UX, how the content architecture would be. Should we just lift and shift whatever we have in our XP? Can we just lift and make everything in a new environment? That would be some problem because when you are creating JSS application, it installs, it requires a few things. Plus, all this, if you are on XM Cloud, you cannot use your MVC based code. You cannot use your pipelines, etc. So if you have lots of customization in an environment, then you have to think a lot before migrating to XM Cloud because XM Cloud does not like they don't recommend adding customization. Say, for example, you have a pipeline when you start the server you are running some codes that will create some files, something like that. So those kind of experimental pieces should be rewritten to manage in XM Cloud. So that is definitely a big challenge. UI UX design, it is always like I recommend to the client that if you are migrating from XP to XM, how about just try to change the UI as well because getting you are solving two issues in one place. We had to redefine some content architecture. So we have to define how we can use the reusable UI components. Like I have three websites. Can I use the same component on three websites? So we have to define that. Architecture that has to be headless architecture. We have to define testing, performance, and security. I'll cover that a little bit, everything a little bit now. So first, very first problem. So not even started. We were the team of .NET developers, Sitecore developers. Most of you have worked upon Sitecore since many years. You don't know anything about, you might not know anything about React, but you know everything about Sitecore. So very first challenge always comes React knowledge. What should be done? When I joined, I have worked in JSS React in past, so I had knowledge. When I joined, I suggested first thing was get the team trained on React. How? Simple. There are sites available. There are LinkedIn. There is a plural site courses there. Courses are there. So get the team trained on React. At least .NET developers will have some idea that what is going on. Sorry. Then we had to do Docker setup. So first question was asked, anyone is aware about Docker? Even for me, Docker was first time. So what we had to do, read about Dockers, how to do setup. For my team, I was working at a client side, not at the development agency. So our client team, we always worked on our laptops directly connecting to XP. Instead of that, we have to use Docker. So what I did, I created one setup on my local, how it works, everything looks good. Started working on the integration, basically creating a local environment on my laptop using Docker. And once it was done, I checked in the code, share it with team. Each and every team member, though we did not like Docker setup, we had to work on Docker initially because at least one point of time I would say out of our eight total development, front end, back end, there would be at least two-person who does not have Docker working. They will say, hey, I took latest, it's not working. Then I have to work with them. What happened? What is missing? So some minor stuff. So created some PowerShell script to restart Docker and desktop. A few other stuff I had to do. So first, so second step, what we took was understanding of Docker. Then repository setup. We need to do a code setup. I am covering that in a next one, but first of all, I'll come back to container setup and FED approach. Now, if you know what is container, that is Docker. We started working on that. It was quick and easy. We can run some just basic command. Literally, when the Docker came, there were one line of command. Someone from Sitecore community, when the Docker was new, someone from Sitecore community created a tweet. So that was less than 160 character, and he said that using this command, I can set up. This is just the whole command comes inside a tweet, and I can start my environment. Yes, those are super fast, and it is very much easy to set up. And once you have container, very initially, you need XM Cloud connectivity, and there are some options available where you don't need XM Cloud connectivity as well. But if you are really working on XM Cloud, just initial setup, you need to have XM Cloud environment. That's it. And then you don't need XM Cloud, you don't need internet. Everything is on your local. So maybe I'm traveling, I have my laptop, I'm in a flight, I just open my laptop, start working on flight. If any project manager over there, please don't listen what I said. This developer don't work, even I don't work on a flight. But if there is anything I want to experiment, I can do it. This is just an example. Uh, but yeah, sometimes it is Docker version dependency. We had some challenges when Docker gets updated and it fails. At one point of time, we face the biggest challenge. Company security policy changed, firewall process changed, and in that we had some challenge. We were not able to start the Solar server, and if Solar server is not on, XM Cloud CM instance, sorry, Docker CM instance will not start. That means technically you don't have Docker instance. We tried a lot, but it was not working. And then we were working closely with one of our developer agency. So they were the one who were developing one website that was our primary website, and me and my team were handling other three website. Those were small website, like 50 pages, maximum 50 pages each. So we faced the issue. We reached out how you guys are working, and then they said they have a setup little different. They were connecting their local Visual Studio directly to XM Cloud instance. When I reached out, I was talking with Liz Nelson, Rich, and other folks at Sitecore. I came to know they are calling that approach now FED, front end development approach. This was around April, May last year. So, what we need, we don't need Docker, because one thing, one challenge, if the laptop does not have space, Docker requires minimum 100 GB of space on your local instance. 100 GB, I'm making it like it depends on your code. If you are starting like you have a greenfield development, then you need maybe 50 GB or 100 GB between that. If you are migrating the data, you have a setup, XP setup, you need to do bring everything you want to create the similar to production environment in your local. That means you have tons of images, 200 GB, 300 GB. So yeah, it is huge. But if we go for FED, no need for local Docker, just uninstall Docker. You don't need. And biggest thing, for FED. Container only works on Windows. Even on container, when we install it on Windows machine, we have to set up it to run on Windows Docker instance. FED, we had a team members who were working on MacBook. So they were directly connected from MacBook to XM Cloud instance and they were able to develop. So FED is independent of uh, operating system. You can use Windows, Docker, or MacBook. Anything is fine. And you have always the latest content from development instance. And how fast it is to set up, you just need to download the code. So get latest, build the code. You just need to make sure about the environment variables. Uh, there are few steps you can set the environment variables. If we have a time, and I remember, I'll show you there is a way you can get the environment variable from Vercel to your local. Or uh, if I can have time, I'll show you. So this is the way. Like you don't need Docker over here. This is your environment, laptop, desktop, anything. You can directly connect to XM Cloud. And this is one link. If you go to Sitecore document and go to XM Cloud, you can go through the documentation over there, and you will find set up your local development environment. In that, you will find both the approaches, your Docker setup and front end development. Docker setup is useful when you don't want any developer to make changes on your development environment, because one challenge, if you have 10 developer working on one environment like your development environment, then heavy chances someone makes a change and it breaks for someone else. So yeah, that is the only scenario where you can use the Docker. Otherwise, FED is super fast to set up. How we handle the development, migration, and releases. Uh, First of all, we had multi-site. So we use the multi-site setup when you are creating a JSS website, JSS app on your local. When you are running the commands, you can specify that I want multi-site enabled app. So then it will give you the some more features, some more you can say modules as well for multi-site. GraphQL is the most important and critical option we have to use. Using GraphQL, you can get anything. So in earlier time, we used to write code, logic, everything. Now, somewhat that will be in GraphQL. You can write a GraphQL query that I want this path, so you can pass on some parameter. So this path its children, but for this particular all the children's and maybe just this templates, first 50 records, everything, so that you can write queries like that in GraphQL. There is if you know Amit Kumar, he has a nice blog how to write GraphQLs. Some really great examples. We had some external integration as well that has to be handled on React Next.js side, but it's better to handle server side instead of a client side. Your all the external integration, like for us, we want to display members information on the page. Then we have to our team created something called mesh network APIs, and we have to integrate we integrated everything our external APIs into that, so that will run on server side, because Next.js also provides server side support. Some of the GitHub workflow we have set up where just check in, it will automatically deploy the code to Vercel deployment setup what we have done. So that was the thing, some few basic stuff we have to implement. uh, Welcome to XM Cloud. This is our XM Cloud instance. We have CDP, Connect, and XM Cloud. You can see develop, production, and UAT environments. So all the developers will be connecting on this XM Cloud develop environment. This is the XM Cloud deploy. These are few 2 3 slides for how you set up XM Cloud environments. So first, when you log in, you will see these options. If you don't see this XM Cloud Develop Production, you will still see XM Cloud Deploy. Click on that. It will open a section like this. In projects, you can create your production UAT develop environments. In most scenario, with XM Cloud, Sitecore provides one production environment and two non-production environment. So this is the production environment, and these two are non-production environment. It will have ID, context ID preview, and context ID live. You can create the environment. There are deployment. You can manually initiate a deployment as well over here. Some credentials are there, how to connect with XM Cloud. There are some connection, documentation, and system status. Using this system status, you will be able to see if there is any challenges with XM Cloud, like there is a global outage. Last year, sometimes we had some Cloudflare outage, then there was another outage similar to that. So Azure outage was there. So XM Cloud suffered at some point of time. So we need to make sure before pointing finger to anyone that hey, you did something, just come and check over here. What is the system status? It's not someone's fault. It is maybe XM Cloud itself is down. Uh, when you are starting these are the some variables. You can set some variables here, environment variables. When you are doing the development, you can see a tab, developments, developer setting, JSS version. Now you will be working on 21.6 and above. So select this. Otherwise, if it is lower, select this one. It has some different parameters. Context is something new which came around last year, July, August, something. Earlier, it was not available when we started working. And now this one is very important thing. Context ID. I have a specific a note at some point in later, so I'll be able to explain it over there. We have JSS editing secret as I have selected preview context ID. That is technically my editing mode. So Sitecore Edge context ID that will be different for preview and live. Site name, whichever site name you are working upon, you can select. If it is a multi-site, you can select the drop down, the site name changes. And editing secret is available only on preview, not on live. That is editing secret to edit your content. Now let's see how we have set up. So we have a root. We have Docker folder .sitecore.env file. This is the most important file in your XM Cloud setup, and then XM Cloud build.json. If you want any changes, some customization according to your implementation, you can make some changes over here, up and down. So start your Docker environment, shut down your Docker environment. So these two are for Docker. Uh, we did something different where under the SRC we created the primary site. But when we are creating the ABC site, this is something what my team was working. So I created a separate folder called travel sites and then put all the sites into that. Our initial idea was to have shared objects, shared content, but when we started working, we realized that instead of that, we can still keep everything separate. Instead of sharing the content, sharing the components, we can still create everything. It would be like learning curve for the team. So at least everything is separated. Each and every website has its own .env file. I'm working on ABC Travel. I have .env file and these parameters. You can see edge context, site name, JSS editing secret that goes into that env file. So each and every env file has a app name. This one has ABC Travel, XYZ Travel, and PQR Travel. Now comes back to the uh, some setup, what we did. One of the things, RTE setup for page editor. RTE stand for rich text editor. If you have heard, our generic rich text editor, that is our Telerik rich text editor, is not supported on page editor. When we started working, we faced that issue that I don't see the rich text editor. Then I found that it was just at that time we came to know that we have some issues with rich text editor, and Sitecore said that we have a new rich text editor now. You can check it out. That how you can see these variables. So on XM Cloud deploy, go to variables and create a variables just to enable the Sitecore, the new rich text editor, and then you will be able to use page editor, rich text editor in the page editor. Otherwise, you won't be able to use. And why I am saying, if you don't enable that and someone from your team edits a rich text editor on a page editor, some change, text change or anything, that will be stored as a text, not a rich text. It will be stored as a text in the database in your field. So that will create a much more bigger problem later. Then comes PowerShell scripts. I have written a few PowerShell scripts because when we were working on Docker, we have to restart the Docker a few times. We have to up, down, we have to delete some networks, then up and down because laptop by shut down automatically. Our we had some policy as soon as you close the lead within it, laptop does not go to hibernate mode. It will just keep running, battery will be down, and you have to restart everything in the morning, next morning. So that was a bigger challenge for our laptops. We tried to change the policy, but company said that no, this is not the policy. We have to make sure that everyone locks the system, shut down the system every day. So yeah, and when this kind of thing happens, next day the Docker does not work. So we had to write some scripts. So I created a simple script. This one specifically highlighted restart XM Cloud, uh, so it was cleaning up everything. I think I haven't. I don't have this on anywhere publicly available. I can share it if anyone wants that. It is much more easier. Just ask the developer, hey, run the restart XM Cloud. Don't run up, down, anything like that. It will restart. It will down, delete the network, and then it will start again. So you will have XM Cloud up and running on Docker soon. Then comes media library migration. This will be the biggest challenge for any migration because media library, you don't know how many media items are there. You create a package and it will be 1 GB, maybe 5 GB, maybe 10 GB. At some place, it would be 100 GB as well. So you can't create a single package and migrate. Uh, I tho- I came across lots of challenges with that because we had some folders, folder to folder, folder to folder, lots of hierarchy, and we came across a situation where if I create a parent folder, it would be 3 GB, 4 GB. So what I did, I wrote a PowerShell script that I have to give the parent node, and then it will go through the child node. I created a few different PowerShell script that it will pick up each and every folder, like under, let's say, travel. I have travel, let's say A, B, C, D, or A1, A2, B1, B2. I created multiple script. First script was something like pick up anything, A, then all the folders with starting with A, that will be in a single package, that is A package. There will be a B package, C package, or just go whichever folder find, create a package for that. So one script creates 10, 50, 100 different packages, just one script. And one of the way we can download the packages at that time during the script as well. But if you have XP and you have access to your environment, don't download, just let it run because that will be way more faster. And all the packages file, all the zip file will be in Sitecore's app data folder under packages. You can just download everything from that one place and then you can install that into XM Cloud. uh, I'm working on a script where I can install 6 packages in a single go. Sitecore environment, Sitecore's package installer works. It can upload multiple, but it installs just one package at a time. One package installs, it will ask you want to restart Sitecore client, Sitecore server. You say that, yeah, yes, no, but then again, dialog box is closed. You have to go create again, like installer. You have to open the package installer again. But I have a script that works like I have to just select maximum 6 packages and it will keep me showing that, yeah, one package is installed, second package is installed, third is installed, fourth, fifth, sixth. So that way I am able to install 6 packages. So let's say ABCD, I have 26 folder. I have to run it 5 times instead of 26 times in Sitecore. So that was one big thing. I've been working on this script since last 3, 4 years. I haven't got a chance to put it on Sitecore like publicly available. But I want to taste that. If anyone wants to try that out, let me know. Similar way to that, we had content migration. Similar, we thought using the PowerShell scripts, we migrated some of the content. We had one folder where we had blogs that we needed to move. Otherwise, we created almost everything brand new. We did not took much things like content from XP to XM and just one section. And when we did that, we brought that one section. There were blogs on our website. You can say around 1,000 blogs. So that 1,000 items comes and it comes with lots of broken links. So we had to make sure that what exactly was there in XP and what is its corresponding value in XM. So some manual work, but thankfully we were able to resolve quite a few time things with PowerShell scripts. Ah, Vercel deployment. So Vercel, we used Vercel. There is another option to use Netlify as well. Vercel, we set up individual app, say Club Alliance development, Club Alliance UAT, Club Alliance production, Martin Travel development, Martin Travel UAT, Martin Travel production. So that way we have each and every individual setup. In that we found some tricks. Our development agency found some tricks that when we are doing the deployment, now technically I am connected to the single repository. I don't have multiple repository. I have a single repository. If I am building, it will deploy all the websites on one environment. I don't want that. And technically, if I'm making any changes on Martin Travel, why I would deploy another website? So that in setup in Git setting, there was some setting they provided. It was just a code that ignore if there are no changes in this folder. So if I'm working on Martin Travel, I'm not going to build any other website because there isn't any changes on any other website. So when I check in anything from Martin Travel, it will not initiate any deployment for other websites. Uh, we had set up one thing that there is a huge GitHub pipeline. We check in the code in GitHub, it automatically initiates building process. It builds. If there is any error, then instead of deploying, it will throw an error and it will send emails to everyone that this is an error. Addition to that, if everything looks good, it will auto deploy to Vercel. But now I don't want to deploy in production. Even in Vercel, we have a development, preview, and production in the same setup. Like even though my Martin Travel development, so that has three options in that. It has a preview, development, and production. Now, production is a specific URL you can set up, like my dev environment dot my website dot Vercel dot app. So that is your preview development environment. It's a kind of a confusing thing, but you can say that when developers are working on a development environment, they have their own separate. You check in the file, it is not merged on your main. Still, you can preview that using preview link on any environment. So you can see your branch specific code on any environment. So that is the advantage of having Vercel. I don't know how Netlify works. Didn't get a chance to check that one. Uh, I hope I have rushing. Yeah, pretty. Some lesson learned. We should have a modular architecture, continuous learning because Sitecore system is too much evolving. Every few days there will be a new environment changes. You see that when we started, the structure was different, where I can find Sitecore desktop or content editor. Uh, Sometimes later, everything changed. The navigation changed in XM Cloud. So people will be, hey, I had something over here. I want to go to desktop. How I can go? Now it is in settings. Now go to settings, and then you will see the desktop. So quite a lot of things keep changing. Almost, I would say, every week or every bi-weekly, there would be a new change in XM Cloud. So you have to keep yourself updated with Sitecore evolving ecosystem. We need to do performance testing frequently because I've seen that if you don't do that and you try to do that almost close to the final release, then there will be a huge challenge. You will not have enough time to fix any performance challenges. And it's, I would say it's always a collaborative approach when you are working with a team. If any team member is having issues, there should be someone who knows that, and at least you should help out other people. And some detail value stuff, I think I'm close to the end, thankfully. But these are the most important lesson learnings for us. And I would say the main part of this session is this, how you can set up your environment. So there were many discussion around in our Sitecore community, and we use the mono repo. So that is technically a single repository for all the websites. You download one source code and you will download source code for all the website. It is little difficult to set initially, difficult to set up initially, but when you have some time initially, when you are starting, you are not in rush that, hey, I need to start working and within 15 days I have to deliver. No, it's always 6 months. So first step is set up your environment correctly so you don't find any challenges. Even though client says that I want to go with a single website, single language, we always suggest to set up a multi-site environment with multiple languages, because if you don't set up a multi-site environment and client comes and say that, hey, I need some small website, can we do that inside core? It's a separate website. And if you have not set up it in a multi-site way, then it will be a challenge. So always set up a multi-site. Even client says that they have just one website. Now, GraphQL is one of the most important in XM Cloud because that will give you a very great performance. But then there are challenges, and one thing which I come across, that is JSON value. JSON value is used only in development. Do not put that in your production environment, because JSON value will not just give you one value, it will give you the whole object. Like I want, if I'm running JSON value for a link object, it will give me SRC, it should be open in next page or not. Everything, each and everything what you will find in a general link, it's an internal link or not, it's an external link or not, everything will be there. What you should be doing is used JSON or value. There are other parameters available. Use that. JSON value is used only in development to see what you have in this particular object, and then try to pinpoint exact field value. You don't need to, like, for example, I can run a loop in GraphQL where I can say that I want this children, and instead of just name, I don't know what fields it has, like if what fields would be there on the template, what are the names, how it is stored in a XM Cloud. Is it meta description or underscore meta description or meta space description, how it is, I don't know. Then run JSON value, you will see everything. Pick up that this is meta description without any spaces and use that in the GraphQL. Don't use the JSON value. Uh, how you will be able to see that? You need to enable GraphQL IDE. People say that playground. There are two ways. One is Edge Endpoint Playground, which is for your production site. Then you can also enable it for your XM Cloud instance as well. So whatever value of your XM Cloud instance, and then there are some parameter, you will be able to see the GraphQL playground. And always run the GraphQL query on GraphQL playground and then only put it on your component or in the code. Content migration wise, I've covered a little bit. I wrote a few scripts, so it's way better to write PowerShell script instead of manually transferring the packages. Uh, we faced at one point of time we had some slowness, and then we found in code uh, there were some loops, and it was completely unavoidable, but it was by mistake it came. Similarly, we had some issues with redirect. So we avoided redirects, but somewhere when we migrated a few redirects from previous environment to our new environment, some changes were there. Like earlier, let's say it was travel site ABC travel. Now it would be travel site, travel app, and then ABC travel. It was just a change a little bit in the path, but then we had to make all changes into our redirects. Rendering host, we did not put any rendering host because we had Vercel environment. But I would always recommend put a rendering host. There was a huge thing why I am suggesting put a rendering host. Last year when we were working on that, we had some challenges, and when we reached out to Sitecore, that we want to set up the preview environment, so we can, though we are publishing, but it's kind of a technically how you set up a preview environment on your CD, where you can say that the item is not published, but user can still see that how it will look on the production site. So master database, we want to access master database, but on our website. So in Vercel, we can do that setup. But as we did not had our Sitecore rendering host setup anywhere, we were not able to achieve that. We had this issue. I created a ticket. We had this issue open for almost 1 month to 2 months. And after lots of frustration, I escalated that directly to Liz because she was the main product manager for XM Cloud at that time. So I reached out to her. I said that this is the challenge, and little bit surprising, Sitecore was working on this particular issue, and they released this preview context ID just when we were talking about this. So literally the same day, I escalated to Liz, and next day I'm receiving a message that Sitecore has released this preview context ID last night. So this one is very important, preview context ID. because now no longer you don't need to set up anything. There are lots of parameters we had to set in environment variable earlier. With preview context ID, we can set up the preview mode, and we can give that to editing as well. On live context ID, once we move to live, we will be able to see what is in production. Preview goes to edge endpoint for master. Live context ID goes to the production published version of the environment. So this one is really very important in XM Cloud. This is not our Sitecore standard setup. This is little different than how it works in our on-premise XM XP. And this one is context ID was released last year, and that is the most important. You can run your environment freely with just context ID. You don't need, there were a few more setup, there were IDs, host name, lots of things. But with context ID, you don't need that 4 or 5 different variables. Single variable and done. Uh, ooh, sorry. Hey, yeah, uh, everything is done. We had lots of challenges, but when we released our website with the performance of our React environment and all other differences we made, it was excellent, and client was very much happy. We had our marketing team saying that the environment is way more faster than our XP. Definitely, we had quite a lot of reduced customization from XP. So it was a good project, and we were finalists for Experience Award as well last year. Though we did not win, but it was a big thing for us that a AAA first time developing on XM Cloud, and we have in the nominations. Feel free to ask any question if there is anything. Let me know.
So, Maulik, I have one question. As I
Sure.
checked that you had a lots of discussion with Sitecore team with this
Yes.
product. Like we are working on a headless architecture. So, is there any chance you have worked on headless with Angular? Because I saw lots of material are on Next.js, but not on the Angular. So, someone asked me that there are less support on Angular. So, do you know about that?
Uh, I'm aware about that, but I haven't worked upon Angular. I worked a very short time. I would say 10-15 days, and that too was around 5 years ago. Uh, Most of the, I would say, most repositories, or you will find everything that will be on React and Next.js. Angular
Yeah.
has very less support, Vue even less support, and after I would say React and Next.js, it will have much more support on ASP.NET Core application, because we have some people from Sitecore working on that, but I have seen very less support on Angular and Vue.
Yeah, I'm actually asking because someone asked me on Slack that they are not able to find the how to integrate forms using Angular. So I also searched for that one, but did not find much blogs and everything stuff on that. That's why.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing where it's not visible much more.
Yeah.
Uh, People are going to React and Next.js way more than Angular and Vue, because I would
Hmm.
say that somewhere I read 90% of XM Cloud would be on React Next.js,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
remaining would be 10%. Even I would say that it would be just 5%, 95% would be React.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Hi, Malik. One question, as you worked on many XM Cloud projects, so you must have created different components. And in XM
Yep.
Cloud, we have different way of creating a component. So which one is your preferred way? And any reason for that? So,
So, yeah, there are components like you can directly create components in XM Cloud. You can use those components the way you can directly create in Sitecore XM Cloud. But I would say that you can use that kind of a component only when you need to display something like title or an image. So that should be fine. But if you need any customization, I would always say that create your own component. uh, am not saying about bring your own component. I would say that the React component standard way how we create the component in React code. So it has a backend code as well. So it has a React JS file, and you create the component inside code. So that is the most recommended way, because if you build your own component way, so that is building everything into your component, and that sometimes does not provide some features are missing over there. I'm not able to recall. During symposium, Sebastian Winter gave a session on that. He and Christian Hahn gave a session on that. And I would always recommend go with what is either create a component directly in XM Cloud or create a component in the code. So that is way more easier. You will have much more control on that.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Does anyone have any other question? All right, so I guess we are on time. So thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate your participation and engagement in the Sitecore User Group Jaipur. A special thanks to Maulik for sharing his valuable insight with us, and we hope you found the session inspiring and informative. Looking forward to see you at our next gathering of Sitecore User Group Jaipur. And thank you so much, Maulik, once again. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah,
Bye bye.
thanks, Maulik. Thanks
Thanks.
a
Thank
lot.
you.